Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to my guidepost, my signpost, my thought for the day. It's based around a poem that I wrote in 2001. Originally, I called the poem Slipping, and then I changed its name to Heaven. And this poem is probably the first of my inspirational poems. I did used to write Christian inspirational poems and songs back in the 70s and 80s, but this is probably the first poem that I wrote, inspirational poem, after leaving the life of the church, and it's called Slipping. Slipping slowly backwards, looking to the dawn of a day or a time where nothing was forlorn. Fill your head with images of joy beyond belief, people in a state of ecstasy of all that lies beneath. Around us and above us, life and laughter meet. More than you imagine, the light surpasses heat. Of course you have the answer before the question's asked. Nothing else is hidden from the one without a mask. Life is certain, you'll do well. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Don't ever trust the way you feel, singing songs of mine. Let me go through it verse by verse with you. So the first verse is slipping slowly backwards, looking to the dawn of a day or a time where nothing was forlorn. There was a time in our lives. My grandson, Eli, has been born Monday of this week. It's now Friday, he's 4 days old. And there was a time in your life and mine where nothing was forlorn. We had no concept of what's going on around us. We were in bliss in our mother's arms, and everything in the world, apart from the shock of not being inside that beautiful, warm heartbeat. You can hear it in the background, mum's heartbeat. You just inside mum's body, and everything is fine. It's a slightly different world to be brought into, where there's not amniotic fluid around you. There's just air, and you've got to breathe for yourself, and some things have changed. But by day 4, I'm sure that Eli is just, well, I've seen pictures. I'm going to hopefully see him this afternoon, just laid there, totally content in his mother's arms. Nothing is forlorn, and we need to slip backwards into our memories of that time, the dawn of our lives, a day, a time where nothing was forlorn. Everything around us was beautiful. We're clean, we're bundled up in clothes and blankets, nice and warm and secure, and there's smiling faces everywhere. That's where we need to go back to, that place where Eli is right now. His full name is Elijah, but we're calling him Eli. And then the poem says, fill your head with images of joy beyond belief, people in a state of ecstasy of all that lies beneath. The earth is a beautiful place, and that which lies beneath us, that's a rock, that support, that planetary support mechanism that we have is enough to have times of great joy and ecstasy. You know, life is full of ups and downs, but fill your head with those images of when you've been joyful and when you've been in a state of ecstasy. Think about those times, and remember that there is a security in the earth, in Gaia, supporting your life and mine. And third verse is, around us and above us, life and laughter meet. More than you imagine, the light surpasses heat. So yeah, there's the heat of argument. There's there's all kinds of temperature changes. It's been a beautiful week last week. We were in almost the 70 Fahrenheit mark, and then yesterday morning it's 0. It's 32 Fahrenheit, and it's snowing, and there's so much change of temperature. Certainly in England, anyway. But the light surpasses the heat. The thing that we should be concentrating on is the beauty of the dawn or the dusk. I think this is the dusk behind me. That there is a beautiful thing that light does. If you've, I love the way that light affects the water. And Monet, I don't know if you know this, Monet painted his own lily garden, water garden in Givenchy in different times of day. He was working on like 18 canvases. He had 18 canvases in front of him, and each hour of the daylight in the summer, he would go to a different canvas, and he was painting it under the different light, this same scene, but in different light. And the light is a beautiful thing, and it brings us to a place of laughter. You know, it's almost like the sky just smiles at us. Around us and above us, life and laughter meet, and more than you imagine, the light surpasses it. You haven't spent enough time contemplating the way that light works in our world. I'm looking out the window here, and there's blue sky, there's clouds going by, and I've not been out there, but I know from the weather app that it's cold out there, but it looks like a beautiful day. There's enough blue sky out there, and the sun is shining, and the whole world looks lovely from where I'm sat. I hope it looks that way for you too. The fourth verse, of course you have the answer before the question's asked. Nothing else is hidden from the one without a mask. So I always tell people from a coaching point of view, you have the answers inside you. All I've got to do as your coach is to bring those answers to your attention. It's not for me to come and bring you an answer. It's not for me to redirect your life in any way. It's for you to discover what's already there. You have the answers before the question's asked. You already know what you're supposed to be doing with your life, and those things that you know, those certainties that you have about yourself and your life, those are the things that will come to pass as long as you have that certainty that you have the answer. Of course you have the answer before the question's asked. Nothing else is hidden from the one without a mask. The thing, we've been wearing a lot of masks because of COVID, haven't we? Over the past couple of years, but that wasn't the mask that I'm referring to in the poem. I'm referring to the way that people hide behind a mask. They pretend to be something that they're not, and in the end, all they ever do is make things more difficult for themselves, because they forget which mask they were wearing when they meet somebody, and they think, how can I how was I with this person last time? I don't want to show myself up here. And so there's nothing hidden for those who don't wear masks. If you just be yourself, be true to yourself, and let the whole world be a liar. No, just be true to yourself. Let it be the way it is for you. And guess what? That's what most people are doing anyway. Maybe they're struggling with it like you and I have. But if you take off the mask, just be yourself. And either people will like you or they won't like you. If they don't like you for who you are, that's fair enough. Stay away from them. But if people don't like you for who you're not, what kind of a sadness is that? Final verse, life is certain, you'll do well. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Don't ever trust the way you feel singing songs of mine. Even though I think I've shared some great wisdom in this poem, I don't want you. The poem is ending by you saying, don't listen to me. Don't listen to my wisdom. Find your own wisdom. And the very fact that you're here means that you're going to be okay. Life is certain, you'll do well. Don't worry. I mean, even Jesus said it, didn't he? He said, how many of you can add a day or an inch to your a day to your life or an inch to your stature? By worrying, you won't. Nothing's going to change. Everything is going to be the way it is, and it's okay to be the way that it is. Don't worry, you'll be fine. But don't ever trust the way you feel singing songs of mine. Don't mix it up. Don't take the wisdom that I've given you, but reinterpret it. You know, I've been spending quite a lot of the last few of these sessions putting my words across to you, poetry that I've written based on the Tao Te Ching, based on Blue Truth by David Dider, based on the Course in Miracles. And it's just my interpretation. It doesn't really matter whether it is the way that you see it. It's the way I see it. And you need to have your own opinion. You need to see things from your own point of view. Take the wisdom that you get from wherever you get it from. That's great. But reinterpret that wisdom so it has a place in your life, not just in your thoughts and in your heart, in your soul, but it's also in the outpouring of your life, in the expression of your life, in the actions of your life. Make sure that the wisdom that you receive is reinterpreted by you in all aspects of your life. I'm going to read my poem again, and then I'm going to end the broadcast. This is Slipping, also known as Heaven, and I wrote it back in 2001. It's the first inspirational poem outside of Christian inspirational poetry or songs that I wrote, and it goes like this. Slipping slowly backwards, looking to the dawn of a day or a time where nothing was forlorn. Fill your head with images of joy beyond belief, people in a state of ecstasy of all that lies beneath. Around us and above us, life and laughter meet. More than you imagine, the light surpasses heat. Of course you have the answer before the question's asked. Nothing else is hidden from the one without a mask. Life is certain, you'll do well. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Don't ever trust the way you feel singing songs of mine. Namaste.